What is going on, Governor? Chisgule here, and today we noticed Guan Yu's first skill's been updated, so we're going to talk about what it means for the meta to come, and we noticed that there is a new Lucerne Scrolls, so let's check it out. Hello, my friends, and welcome. We've got a few things we need to talk about today, but before we get started, if you like Rise of Kingdoms videos, please do like and subscribe. We've got a bunch of information about commanders on the way, and we are a sponsored creator with Rise of Kingdoms. Guan Yu's first skill has been updated, and it's now much more clear what this commander does. Before, they were just so crazy, busted, insane based on the description, and now it's more clear. I mean, let's go get a look here. The active skill makes it so that, and I'm going to read this directly from the screen here, it deals direct damage to up to 3 enemies in a fan-shaped area, damage factor of 2,000 at max, a base of 1,100. And it silences these targets for 3 seconds. So all the targets are getting silenced, which is pretty nuts. So not just the primary target, but all the targets that are hit are silenced. That's insane. And damage dealt to all targets will be decreased by 15% for each additional enemy. Now, this is something we've seen on Isong Ye. If you're hitting lots of targets, it reduces the amount of damage each target is dealt by, 15%, but you're still dealing more damage in total by virtue of hitting so many armies. And the second part of this skill is interesting. When Guan Yu is serving as the secondary commander, decrease the damage factor to 1,000. So to me, what this means is that you want Guan Yu to be a primary commander. Now, part of the reason for that is that you can see here the rage requirement, which is listed in red, is still listed as 1,000. Now, that 1,000 rage requirement doesn't change if they're the secondary commander. So, it's going to be based on whoever the primary commander is. I should say that a little differently. So unless you can find a way to cut the rage requirement like in half, it just doesn't exist. Today, there is no reason that you would use Guan Yu as a secondary commander. He should just be the primary. Now, the rest of the skills remain the same. Now, a damage factor of 2,000 with a silence that can hit 3 targets is pretty reasonable. It's still very powerful, but it's much more reasonable. If we compare to other commanders, for instance, if we take a look at Isong has a damage factor of 1,700. He can hit 5 targets, and there's no silence. So, you're kind of making an interesting trade-off here. There's 300 more damage factor on Guan, and he's got a silence. I think Guan is generally stronger. The times in which you generally can find 5 targets are pretty limited, although Isong's circle AoE is pretty good, and gosh darn it, if we're comparing the expertise skills, there's really no comparison. Isong's is a million times better than a Lone Rider, which is Guan Yu's. Whenever Guan gains a shield, he also increases his active skill damage by 15% for 3 seconds. Today, there's not really a great way to tap into that. Perhaps with Leonidas, that will make a lot of sense, but for now, not a great way to tap into that. And, some march speed for 3 seconds when you leave a structure. Woo! Whatever. Not the combat ability we're looking for. This is not the combat ability you're looking for. I think these changes to Guan Yu are a bit more clear and a bit more reasonable than what we were looking at before, where Guan Yu was going to destroy all things. He still may go and do that with the infantry skill and conquering tree. He could become the very best to go take down Wu Zetian, but we will find out over time. Right now, newsflash, in case you haven't seen it, Attila and Takeda are basically destroying everything in the garrison. It's totally nuts. It's been all over Reddit and other places. That combo is going off the chain, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. Let's talk about the next piece of the puzzle here, which is unlocking Guan Yu. Now, we would have expected that Mighty Governor would have flipped over to Guan Yu. It looks like we're going to have one more cycle of Attila than we normally might. And I'm okay with that. Attila looks really good. I'd love another opportunity to get some more of his sculptures. So perhaps in about 2 weeks and 3 days from now, we'll be seeing a Guan Yu Leonidas pairing show up either in Mighty Governor or the Wheel of Fortune. We'll see how they split those up. If we just get a quick look back at Guan Yu to confirm if his location has changed, he still is going to be in the Wheel of Fortune, it looks like, and we would expect that Leonidas will be in the Mighty Governor. And so Leonidas would show up in that Mighty Governor, and on the Tuesday of that Mighty Governor, we would expect that Guan Yu would show up in the wheel. Now, let's get a look here at, the next thing we needed to peek at. Congratulations, you had 3 clues last season. A clue. This season, you will inherit 600 clues. All right, cool. Clues inherited. Claim prize. Okay, so Lucerne Scrolls, it's back. Is it better than before? I don't know. I'd have to look at the details of the previous one to really get a sense. But do I want to unlock emojis with Julius Caesar? Yes, I do. Now, last time around, we had like 16 days left when we finished this entire 80 levels of clues. So I am inclined to go in. I'm inclined to go in and unlock at the lowest tier of Divine Inheritance, which is the Treasure Hunter. That is the one of the 2 bundles I'm inclined to purchase in order to unlock the entirety of this bottom row. Now, with that said, they had put in their patch notes that you could go past level 80, so I don't know how exactly that's going to work. To me, all I see is a level 80, and maybe after the patch this coming week, that will have changed. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I just found myself so far ahead last time, and especially because I got all those clues at the start, giving me a little bit of a jump start. I find myself wondering, like, do I really need to purchase the more expensive bundle? Now, if you are going to buy the more expensive bundle, the sooner that you do that, the better, because you get the extra 50% on the weekly challenges for the clues. And the reason that that's really powerful is that you want to start that right away. The sooner you start that, the sooner you're getting value from it. If you start it later, you don't get all the previous value you would have gotten. In other words, if you've already claimed some number of days worth of challenges, well, you're not going to get the 50% bonus on those days you've already claimed them. So the second you purchase it, it is applicable moving forward. So I still have that small concern of, gosh, are they going to add levels beyond 80? It would seem weird to me that they would make this go live before then upping the number of levels possible, such that it would influence which of the 2 bundles you would go and buy. But I'm going to go for this basic Treasure Hunter package, and I suppose that because I'm going to go for this, I'm not actually in a hurry to purchase it. Now, here's why. The reason I'm not in a hurry, and I'm going to wait until this next patch rolls around, is that it's unlocking this bottom row for me, but not giving me any major bonuses. So I don't need any of this stuff that's in the bottom row right away. I can be patient on that. So since I can be patient, I'm going to wait for the next patch to come. I'm going to see if there's levels beyond 80, such that I would need to go and purchase the higher version of this to get to those levels, and then we'll go from there. All right, so there's the strategy. Wait until Tuesday, make your decision. Because we've got the clues from the previous season, we're going to go with the cheaper version of this bundle unless there's something compelling to hunt for. By the way, just in terms of value, I do think that for $5, if you could get to level 80, it does seem pretty good in terms of value and comparable to me to a Writer of History bundle, except, you know, in the Writer of History bundle, you're getting all this stuff right away and you don't have to do a lot of work. Here, if you can really do the work, knocking out all the challenges and get a lot of value, I feel pretty good about it. And I did just spend a moment revisiting the patch notes. It does say level 81 plus will be a thing. So I actually do anticipate that we might go in and buy the more expensive bundle. If the rewards past 80 look good, I would expect that there will be maybe some material choice chests in there. That's what I would put in there. They did say they wanted to create more ways to make materials available to players. I don't know. I actually am starting to believe that the Archaeologist package will be more appropriate pending what we see for those sweet goodies that live in 81 plus and how many levels there even are. Okay, there is actually one more thing I want to talk about, which is that right now there's a Bankrupt the Boutique event going on. The way this works is that when you buy something in a row from the mysterious merchant, it discounts something else from that same row by an additional 10%, but it can't be a better discount than 90% off. Now, this event is fine, but honestly not amazing. If you already are doing some moderate spending at the mysterious merchant, I really wouldn't amp it up very much. Let me show you why this is honestly not particularly impressive. When we go in and we look at the top row, I personally am only buying gold from this top row, and there's only one gold item here. I'm not going to buy the stone for gems in order to get a discount on the gold, so I'm just going to take it. Now you can see here it's now discounted food to 90%. Now, on my restart project, I actually am buying all the resources that are 90% off, so this row is a little more compelling. But in general, I get no value from this row from the Bankrupt the Boutique event, and I certainly wouldn't go out of my way for it. If we look at the next row, the speed ups, it's very much a similar situation. If you don't need the building and research speed ups, then you'll often find yourself in a situation where this row is not very compelling. The other thing that I find about this row that's not very compelling is that really only the 70% off is sometimes good, and the 80% off is definitely good. When you get 80% off, that's actually straight value. But it's hard to find that situation. So in this case, I'm going to claim these healing speed ups because I definitely want those for resources. And you know what? These building speed ups have been discounted. But just to show you how not impressive I find a 60% off discount, I'm going to look at one other place where you might be able to go and purchase some speed ups. So now we're looking at 10 hours of speed up that are building specific for 480 gems. Well, if I go to the VIP shop, and I look at the 8-hour speed ups, for 240 gems, I can get an 8-hour speed up. So you shouldn't be buying that just because it's an extra 10% off in the mysterious merchant if you aren't already max purchasing the 8-hour speed ups over here. So I think this event can cause you to start to buy some things that maybe you shouldn't. And by the way, if I just jump back to that VIP shop real quick, we look at these hour-long speed ups. Those are 50 gems a pop. I mean, I don't even buy these from here because I don't think that's a very good price. I stick to the 8-hour speed ups or higher. And to be buying like the hour-long speed ups every week in addition to the 8-hour speed ups, I mean, you'd have to be gemming pretty hard, and most players are not, and I just wouldn't advise you to buy that. So if we go back to the courier station here, we're going to stop on this row. Again, we got 0 value so far from the Bankrupt the Boutique event in this row. Looking at the third row, there's nothing here we want to buy. So again, we're getting 0 value from the Bankrupt Boutique event. And in the fourth row, sure, I'll buy experience for resources, but I'm not going to buy this other thing that got discounted. So I have obtained 0 value from this full rundown on the Bankrupt the Boutique event. Let's just hit the free refresh here and see what else we get. So the top row does have some resources for resources, which we'll buy. Again, no value from the Bankrupt the Boutique event and nothing different than I would have done previously. If we look at the next row, here we have the possibility of some value. The way in which we could get some decent value would be if we could get the discount onto these 10 hours of speed ups that are already 70% off. If we could get that down to be 80%, that would be pretty good. So there's a couple ways you could approach this. One is to say, I'm going to take this item over here because it's such a low amount of gems that the number of gems I would save by virtue of discounting this other thing would be really impressive. But let's start by just buying the thing that I knew I was going to get anyways, and maybe we get really lucky and it lands over here. So if we buy this item over here, boom, we got super lucky. There you go. 241 gems for the 10 hours of speed up is pretty good. We basically got 2 hours of speed up for free from this event, which is nice, but like not life-changing. Okay, so there we go. Now, is this worth it? 23 gems for 30 minutes of speed ups? Not really. Like a hour-long speed up is 50 gems. This is 23 gems. Like, it's not It's not all that exciting, and like honestly, the hour-long speed-ups at 50 gems are pretty expensive in my opinion. Once again, we find ourselves on the bottom row, but not a lot here that is exciting us. We are going to take the glove pattern that is the cheapest item in here by resource cost, so we're going to buy that first. We see that it landed on a blue star, which we would never buy, so we're going to pick up this item over here, and we're not gemming experience. We have way more than we need right now. So we got maybe you could sort of consider 2 hours of speed up so far out of this event. So now you may be wondering, should I refresh for gems? And for most players, the answer is a solid, clean, absolutely not. That said, I'm going to do the 100 gem refresh just to show you, because now we're paying 100 gems. I need to find 100 gems of extra value here that I would have gotten otherwise for this to have been worth it at all. Even breaking even would be, I would find that so impressive for this event and hard to believe that that will happen. So we're going to spend the 100 gems, and we see here that again the first row is a dud for us. We're going to take the gold, but that's the only thing we're buying here, the 90% off resources. We just don't need all those resources. If we look at the next row, we've got some possibility here. So we really want these speed ups to be further discounted, and we'll get some amount of value. We might break even with that gem cost if we can get those speed ups. So let's spend over here on the speed ups for resources and hope we get lucky. We did not. We have these research speed ups. Now, look, we've got a 50-50 here that if we buy these research speed ups, we're going to save some amount of gems over here that will exceed the amount we spent, and maybe one day these research speed-ups will have value. I mean, you see why this event is just not very exciting to me. So let's smash it anyways and see how this goes. Do we get lucky? We did. So we maybe sort of save 100 gems here, which like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. Would I buy 6 hours of speed ups for 288 gems? No, 240 gems for 8 hours is what the rate is that we're looking for. Again, the middle row here is, or I guess the third row is a total dud for us, and the bottom row, there's only one thing I wanted. Anyways, that is the infantry breastplate. There's a question that could be asked, which is, would I spend the 2,400 gems for the gold stars? And look, while the Blessed Dazzling Starlight sculpture is very good, I do not think that it is worth the 2,400 gems or so that I would be paying for it. I'm not gemming them from the VIP shop, the bundles of Starlight sculptures at 2,000 gems a pop, so I wouldn't gem them here. It's like I said, this event is fine. You can get incremental value, but I sort of broke even in this run here. I broke even in this run, and if there was more that I was buying here, then okay, maybe I'd be getting a little more value, right? You've got to be buying the big gem items, but what big gem items are you buying here? We didn't get any material choice chests to show up, and they're not all that frequent. Material choice chests, I gem the heck out of. If those were guaranteed in every refresh here, I would be doing more refreshes, but they're not. I overall think this is a fine event, but I just really wouldn't be going out of my way for it. So hopefully you found this video interesting, entertaining, helpful, or all of the above. If you did, please do like and subscribe so you can get more content just like this. Do you think that Guan is going to change the meta? Do you think that the pairing with Leonidas is going to be completely busted? I think they seem good, but not nearly as good as it was before with like the 1,000 extra damage factor, which was completely unbelievable and busted. It seems much more in line with what we might expect now, and I'm honestly, at the moment, pretty closely watching what's going on with Attila and Takeda, because that might be topic for another video. Until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.